Today on Public Eye News, 2 Nigerian men plead guilty in the sexual extortion of Jordan DeMay among hundreds of other victims, and later, jury selection for Donald Trump's hush money trial is set to begin Monday morning.
Our very own Nolan Schaefer will have a look at when you should expect a possible rain shower to hit this weekend, and Bodie Bates will have a look at the Frozen 4 Championship and more in your Sports Breakdown. I'm Megan Tarcia.
And I'm Luke Niddle, and you're watching Public Eye News. Two of the defendants in the high-profile sexual extortion case that has taken the country by storm have pled guilty. Samuel and Samson Agoshi have pled guilty to the crimes that include the online sexual extortion of 17-year-old Jordan DeMay of Marquette, who took his own life due to the incident in 2022. The Agoshis posed as a girl online and subsequently threatened to release compromising photos of DeMay. The Agoshis were extradited to the United States in August of 2023 to await trial, where the two men pleaded guilty. A third man, Ezekiel Robert, was ordered to be extradited in March of this year, but appealed the mandate. The decision is now before the Nigerian High Court. The offense of conspiracy to sexually exploit minors requires a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years in prison, with the maximum possible penalty being 30 years. The case is currently being investigated by the FBI, the Marquette Sheriff's Department, and the Michigan State Police Cybercrimes Unit. Federal Judge Jane Beckering of the Western District of Michigan approved Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel's motion to dismiss a lawsuit brought forward by Republican state legislators. The case is against Governor Gretchen Whitmer, alleging the constitutionality of Michigan's voter-initiated amendments to the state constitutions. Specific attempts were made to challenge Proposal 3 of 2018 and Proposal 2 of 2022, both of which deal with voter registration and voter ballots. The argument relied on the independent state legislator theory, which states that neither voters nor courts can make or modify election laws relating to federal voting. Attorney General Nessel stated that the lawsuit was, quote, absurd and baseless from its inception, and I am glad the court saw the plaintiff's obvious lack of standing, end quote.
And farmers across the state of Michigan are being advised to tighten up all biosecurity measures due to the spread of highly pathogenic avian influenza, HPAI, commonly known as bird flu. The virus, which has been confirmed in 4 counties, Iona, Isabella, Ottawa, and Montcalm, can easily spread unknowingly on anything from farm equipment to shoes to delivery or service vehicles. The Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development is asking not only farmers, but also company, business, or organizations traveling to multiple farms each day as part of their work to make sure they are implementing biosecurity measures to protect Michigan farms. Some of the recommendations to prevent the spread of the bird flu include not limiting non-essential visitors to your farm and requiring or providing clean clothing and footwear to those entering your farm. And if you've been curious about what Michigan Tech students have been creating recently, next Tuesday, April 16th, is the day to find out. Michigan Tech's 2024 Design Expo will allow more than 1,000 students from Tech's senior design and enterprise teams to showcase their projects to the general public, and a panel of 80 judges competing for nearly $4,000 in prizes. Some of the projects include equipment required for a typical day of the life on the moon, and a remotely operated vehicle that explores and maps flooded mines. The expo will run from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And a unique option for the afterlife is helping to give back to the environment. WCCO's David Schumann visited Minnesota's Better Place forests, where families are spreading their loved ones' ashes to be closer to nature.
Tori Nonamaker with Better Place Forests is giving Joni Schramm a ride to see her husband Scott in the St. Croix Valley Forest.
Maybe we will see some deer.
These 112 acres in northern Washington County aren't just a forest. They've become an alternative to a traditional cemetery.
They can purchase a tree and have their loved ones or their own ashes placed at the base of the tree.
Right down this way where the bench is.
Joni discovered this option for Scott a year after he died.
The first time I stepped foot on these grounds, I felt an overwhelming peace.
She chose a maple, and Scott's ashes were combined with the soil to create a nutrient for the forest. Hundreds of people have chosen trees here to be their eternal homes. Tori says cremation in general is gaining in popularity.
One reason is because of the environmental impact. Another is the cost efficiency of it.
Buying a tree starts at around $6,000, and multiple family members can be spread there. Each time someone buys one, Better Place plants dozens of new trees in areas affected by deforestation and forest fires.
It's such a beautiful option for families that are choosing cremation, to have something that connects you to nature.
We are looking forward to the day that we can bring visitors out here and sit and remember and tell good stories.
In Scandia,
People need to be told about this place.
David Schumann, WCCO News.
You got your quirky neighbor in the shot?
Now, don't touch that dial. Nolan Schaefer will be right back with your weekend weather forecast, taking a look to the clouds right after this break.
After 39 games, after 40 teams, we are now down to the final two. This week on High School Bowl, it will be our championship match. Who are the two teams taking part? Well, they are these two teams, West Iron County and Houghton. Who walks away as champions in our 23-24 season? We'll find out coming up this weekend on High School Bowl.
Hi, welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Nolan Schaefer with your weather today. First, we'll be taking a look at our school Skycam, and as you can see, we're experiencing some lovely weather here in Marquette and taking a look at current temperatures across the UP. Starting in Houghton, we have temperatures of 47 degrees and partly cloudy skies. Ironwood, 49 and cloudy. Iron Mountain, 52 and cloudy. Menominee is also cloudy, and a temperature of 54. In Escanaba, it's partly cloudy with a temperature of 55. Manistee, we're experiencing some rain with a temperature of 45. Sault Ste. Marie, also some rain and temperatures of 43. And then in the lovely Marquette is partly cloudy with a temperature of 47. And looking further into those current conditions, we have winds coming out of the northwest at 26 miles per hour, and that barometric pressure is at 29.75 inches and rising. And looking forward to the conditions tonight, some more partly cloudy skies with a low of 42 and winds out of the northwest at 18 miles per hour. And looking forward to tomorrow, we have some mostly cloudy skies with a high of 48, a low of 38, and winds out of the north at 12 miles per hour. And looking forward to this lovely weekend. Sunday, we have a high of 50, some partly cloudy skies, a low of 39. Monday, a high of 52, some partly cloudy skies again, a low of 39. Then on Tuesday, we have a high of 55 with some clouds. You can experience some showers in there, and a low of 47. That's all I have for the news today. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you so much for that weather update, Nolan. Now let's get back into some more national news. A survey conducted by the University of Michigan shows a slight drop in consumer sentiment surrounding the U.S. economy, but still remains near a recent high. The Consumer Sentiment Index released in a preliminary version today with a slight dip of 77.9, down from 79.4 in March. The index has shown the strongest rebound in nearly 3 decades in recent months, where it dipped to as low as 61.3 in November of 2023. Strong consumer sentiment can sometimes translate to larger spending, but an expected rise in gas prices could drop overall outlook more. Gasoline prices have jumped by 7% in 1 month, rising to $3.63 a gallon, according to AAA. Americans also believe inflation to still be well above the Federal Reserve's 2% mark at around 3.1%. And a Manhattan judge must find a dozen Americans to become the first ever jury to sit in front of judgment of a former president charged of a crime. Donald Trump, the 44th president of the United States, will face 4 criminal prosecutions, with the New York case being the first carried out. Trump is currently charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records, a felony punishable with up to 4 years in prison. While falsifying records itself is a misdemeanor, if the jury can find evidence of Trump forging records to cover up another crime, the charges will be brought up to the felony level. If Trump is convicted, he will still be able to run as the presumptive 2024 Republican nominee for president. And a new report is raising health concerns about Lunchables, the prepackaged box meals popular with parents for their convenience, and introduced to school cafeterias across the country last year. We get details now from CBS's Nancy Chen.
The popular longtime lunch staple being called out by Consumer Reports for what it says were high levels of sodium, lead, and other heavy metals found in store-bought versions. The group even asking the federal government to take them out of the menus of millions of kids through the federal school lunch program.
How high were the levels of lead and cadmium that you saw?
It ranged from as low as 7% to as high as over 70%. But it's important to note that the versions that are made available for the school lunch program were in the 70% range.
Consumer Reports said one package tested at 74% of the maximum lead allowed per day in California, under what it calls the most protective state law.
There's no safe level for lead for kids. And so when you're exposing this much to them at such an early age, it can really increase the risk later on in life.
In a statement, Kraft Heinz, the manufacturer of Lunchables products, said lead and cadmium occur naturally in the environment and called the Consumer Reports study misleading, causing undue concern over the safety of our products, something we take seriously. All our products tested well below the acceptable limits. Dietitian Arlene Stein.
What do you recommend parents do?
One option would be that you try and balance out the rest of the day with healthier things, like, not having juice with it, drinking water.
Developing healthy habits that will last for years to come. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
And wait right there, Bodie Bates has an update on some action on the ice after this.
C'est un tueur en série. Écoutez, j'ai regardé, il y a plein de choses qui vont pas dans cette enquête.
Quelque chose qui cloche.
Tonight at 9 on WNMU-TV.
Welcome back, I'm Bodie Bates, and this is your Public Eye Sports Report for Friday. Starting off on the ice in St. Paul, Minnesota, the Men's Ice Hockey National Championship is set between Denver University and Boston College. The Pioneers defeated the Boston University Terriers in overtime last night, 2-1, thanks to a Tristan Brose laser between the legs of a Boston U defender and under the goaltender. The Boston College Eagles defeated the Michigan Wolverines 4-0 in the second game, led by freshman Will Smith's 2 goals and a wraparound goal by Gabe Perrault and another goal by Cutter Gauthier. The puck is set to drop tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on ESPN2. Off to the Steel City, where the Detroit Red Wings fell in overtime last night to the Pittsburgh the Pittsburgh Penguins 6-5. The Wings were down 5-3 late in the game before a Dylan Larkin goal with 12:56 left and the last of a Lucas Raymond hat trick sent the game to overtime. Sidney Crosby's 1,000th assist to Erik Karlsson was enough to give the Penguins the win at home. With a Washington loss, the Pens moved into second of the wild card of the Stanley Cup playoffs, followed by the Caps and Wings at 85, 1 point back of the Pens for the wild card. The Red Wings play at Toronto tomorrow night at 7, and then a home-and-home against the Montreal Canadiens on Monday and Tuesday. Finally, the top prospects of the WNBA draft are out, headlined by Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Clark is the all-time leading scorer in Division I across both men's and women's basketball. Clark also led the Iowa Hawkeyes to the national championship in back-to-back appearances, and Angel Reese led the LSU Tigers to the national championship in 2023, beating the Hawkeyes. However, other invitees include Stanford's Cameron Brink and South Carolina's Camila Cardoso. I'm Bodie Bates, and that's your Public Eye Sports Report for Friday, and now back to the desk.
Thank you so much for that update, Bodie. Megan, we've been having some pretty warm weather recently. Have you been able to get outside at all?
Oh yes, I love living in Marquette. It's such a beautiful scenery for this type of weather. I've spent a lot of time recently at the beach. The ships are back, so that's kind of really nice to be able to sit and watch on my free time. What about you?
Been doing it outside a lot. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Luke Niddle.
And I'm Megan Tarcia.
And we'll see you on Monday.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.
Thanks for watching today's episode of Public Eye News. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube down below or follow us on Instagram at NMU Penn to never miss a story.